Hi, welcome to the first video on the chapter 1 of the book. Actually, we do not ask chapter 1 on the test. It is just the introduction. It is a very short chapter. And I will give you the brief introduction of what is statistics, what is sample, what is population, what is variable data, and all those kind of things that the basic terms that we use in statistics, okay? So the first of all, what is a variable in a statistic? Okay. So a variable is a characteristic or attribute that can assume different values. For example, let us say that you want to know what is the average age of the people that were sick from the COVID-19 in Tift County. In this case, so what you want to study is you want to study the average age or the age of the people that were sick from the COVID-19 in the Tift County, right? So the variable is the age because you want to study that. You want to study the characteristic or the age of the people, okay? So you can denote that age by X or any other letter, or you can just write age instead of X. So this is the variable, right? This is how you do that for the variable. And what is the data? Data are the values of the variables that can assume. For example, if you were talking about the age of the people that were sick from the COVID-19, then you will go and collect the data, right? So that age could be 24 years or 76 years or 82 years and so on. So these are the data that you are collecting, okay? So the variable is the characteristic or the attribute that can assume different values, and the values of the variable are called the data, okay? Next thing is statistic. So statistics is science of conducting studies to collect the data. Statistics or the statistician, what they do is they collect the data and you organize the data, meaning you write the data in increasing order or decreasing order or write in a table and so on. And you summarize the data. Summarize means you find out the average of the data or median of the data or mode of the data and also so many things, standard deviation of the data and so on. Analyze the data. Sometimes you compare two data sets. Sometimes you find the conclusion from the data, like we call inferential statistics, meaning you get the inference from the data, okay, and draw a conclusion from the data. That's what the statistics do, okay. So what is the difference between population and sample? So population consists of all subjects that are being considered. Sample is a group of subjects selected from the population. For example, let us say that you want to know what was the average age of the people that were sick from COVID-19 in the United States. So if you want to know the age of the people or the average age of the people that were sick from COVID-19 in the United States, you will have to go through each of the sick person and then record the age, right? Which will take a lot of time and money. But suppose you don't want to do that. You don't have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money to collect the data. So instead of doing that, what you do is you pick the sample, meaning you pick some people from one state, let's say 10 people from one state, and then randomly, okay? One state, and then you record the age. You pick another 10 state from the 10 people from the another state, and then record the age of the people that were sick, okay? And then similarly you continue doing from every state. So you pick 10 sick people from the COVID-19 and record their age. So you do from many states or many places. You record the age of the 10 sick people from one location. You record the age of the 10 sick people from another location. Do that so many times, okay, or so many locations, and then find the average age of those ages, okay. So that will give you some kind of idea of what is the average age of the people in the United States that were sick from COVID-19, okay. All right, so if you go through each of the sick people from COVID-19 and record the age, that is called the population, okay. But if you, instead of going to each people, If you take 10 people from one location, another 10 people from another location, another 10 people from another location that were sick from COVID-19 and record the age, that is the sample. Alright? Now the parameter and statistic. A statistic is a number that represents the property of sample. If you find out the mean from the sample, if you find out the median from the sample, or standard deviation from the sample, and so many things from the sample, then we call statistic. And if you find out the average or mean or median or standard deviation, whatever you want to find out from the population, then it is called parameter. Okay. If you study the whole population, the finding is called parameter. If you study the sample, the finding is called statistic. Okay. So next thing is the branches of statistic. One is the descriptive and the other is the inferential statistic. So descriptive statistic that tries to describe the situation consists of data collection, organization, summarization, and presentation of the data. It does not do the analysis of the data. It just collect the data and then write the data in the nice way, nice order in the tabular form, and find the summary of the data. Summary means if you want to find out the average of the data, just one number is the summary there, right? Or you can find out the summary like minimum of the data, maximum value of the data, what is the quartiles of the data, those kind of things that doesn't need the rigorous analysis is the descriptive descriptive statistics. Okay, and you can present the data in the graph or diagrams and so many things. Okay, we'll cover all those things later. But what is the inferential statistics? If the statistician try to make inference from sample to population, what they do is they pick a sample, they find out the things that you want to know from the sample, and then they apply that finding from the sample to the whole population. That is called the inferential statistics. Okay, it consists of performing estimations and hypothesis testing, determining the relationship among variables, and making predictions. So we'll do all these things later in the chapter. Okay, this is just the introduction. Okay, now types of data. There are two major types of data. One is the qualitative, the other is the quantitative. Okay, so qualitative data that have the variables that can be placed into distinct categories according to some characteristics. So you cannot rank the qualitative data. For example, the color. If you want to know how many people in a class like different colors, then the color doesn't take number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is like red, blue, green, that way. Okay. So the data does not have numbers, or you cannot rank the value of the data. In that case, we call qualitative data. For example, gender, the data related to gender, it is not ranked data, or it is not rankable data. Okay, favorite colors, ethnicity, geographical locations, those kind of data are called qualitative data. But what is the quantitative data? Quantitative data are variables that are numerical and can be ordered or ranked. For example, if you want to know the age of the people or the height or weight, so those data will be numerical data or the number data, and then those data can be ordered like increasing to decreasing, decreasing to increasing, which one is bigger, which one is smaller, those kind of things. Okay, that is called the quantitative data. So in the quantitative data, there are two types, discrete and continuous. So the discrete variables or the discrete data assume the value, the discrete variable assumes the value that can be counted. For example, the number of children in a family, number of students in a class, those kind of data are called the discrete data. But the continuous data can assume infinitely many values, or there are many values. Okay, so for example, let us say temperature. So temperature can be any decimal values. You can think of any number of decimal, because 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.11, 1.111, 1.112, there are so many. So you can basically list all the numbers between 1 and 2. So if any variable takes those kind of numbers like decimal numbers, then they are continuous variable. For example, temperature, wind speeds, weights, they can take n decimal values, so they are the continuous variable. So the next thing we want to talk about is data in nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale. So first, the data on ratio scale, the measurement scale having a constant interval size and having a true zero. What is the meaning of true zero? Meaning, if the data have zero, if the variable can take a zero value and if it has meaning. Okay, for example, height. So weight, number, length. These are the data in the ratio scale, on ratio scale. The difference between 20 and 21 have the same meaning as the difference between 35 and 36. So meaning it has the constant interval, right? Because what is the interval here? 1. The length is 1, right? Here also length is 1. So if you take the same length between any two numbers, they have the same meaning. Okay? The difference is 1. 1 kilogram or 1 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever you think of. Okay? And also in this case, 0 has a meaning. For example, if you are taking the length, 0 length meaning no length, right? 0 means no in this case. So the data in ratio scale, they have the constant interval size and also the true 0, meaning 0 has a meaning there. But in the case of the data in interval scale, measurement scale having only the constant interval but not a true 0. For example, the temperature or the IQ scale. So 0 temperature does not mean no temperature. 0 temperature means there is a temperature, right? But the difference between 50 degree and 60 degree is same as difference between 80 degree and 90 degrees. Meaning the difference is taken as the amount of energy needed to increase an object from 50 to 60 degree or 80 to 90 degree. That's the same amount of energy. Okay, so it has the meaning of constant interval, but it does not have true 0. That is the interval scale. Data in ordinal scale is the measurement that deals with size, order of the data, not a value such as increasing order or decreasing order, smaller, etc., etc. Okay, it consists of ordering or ranking of the data, big, small, medium, like that, but we do not use numbers there. So ranking just care the order, not the value. Example is ranking, ordering, assigning with letter grade, like that. Okay. For example, if you want to rank top 5 holiday places, then you will say top 1, top 2, the number 1, I like this one best, and number 2, number 3, number 4. It does not mean that the difference between number 1 and number 2 is same as difference between number 3 and number 4, right? So it does not have the interval or the 0. So it has just the ranking, like bigger, smaller, most, more, less, like that. Okay, ranking, ordering, assigning with letter grade. That's what the data in ordinal scale is. And data in nominal scale is data is classified by their name, such as gender, country, color, etc. So that is the data in nominal categories. Alright guys, so the next time I will do 1.3, that is data collection and sampling techniques. Thank you.